who don't know me, my name is Stephanie Georgiou. As Jess mentioned, I'm a psychologist. I'm also an EAP clinician. So what I do is I actually go out to organisations, I meet with managers, staff. So I work within the space of organisational change, such as restructures, redundancies, but also with the individuals one-on-one, deal with mental health issues, relationship and work concerns. So I see both sides, the employee manager space and then also the employees as well. So I'm going to speak a little bit about employee morale and motivation. And while these terms are different, they do come together and work with each other. So morale is defined by an individual's total satisfaction. So they're just the satisfaction that comes from their job, their work group, their supervisor. It's a fusion of their attitudes, their behaviors, all taken together in a work scenario. But what can happen is motivation is high, morale tends to be high as well. High morale versus low morale and what that looks like in a given company or organization. So when you are looking at high morale, you've got, a keen team, they're part of a group, they're committed, there's a sense of belongingness, there's a sense of camaraderie, no matter what happens in the company, they feel like they're really part of something great. They're able to identify conflict quite effectively, solution focused. And when you see that in a team, you do see increased productivity, increased motivation, and that in turn reduces absenteeism, presenteeism, which is being at work but not really being engaged. On the other side of the coin, you've got low morale. And when an organisation is experiencing low morale, there's greater conflicts and grievances. There's a higher rate of absenteeism, presenteeism. And in Australia, between $6 and $36 billion in lost productivity. So when I work with organizations, I go out and do training and mindfulness because it's so important to invest that into your team, because when we don't, there's such a loss of productivity that comes there that costs financially, emotionally, all across the board. So whilst motivation is an internal psychological drive for an individual, it's different. And this is what I'm going to speak about. We've all got this idea about what motivation is. Like motivation is waking up at 5:30 in the morning. And yes, it is. But motivation, it's not a one size fits all. And this is what's very, challenging to accept sometimes, because you think, well, if my, employee is motivated, they're going to come to work, they're going to do their job, and they're going to fit a certain mold. But it's not always the case. So when you have higher motivation, it does lead to a higher morale of employees. But higher morale does not essentially mean more motivated employees. Motivation is just about energy. So if you've got someone who comes in and they're all like, yeah, went for my run and I'm here and I'm ready to do my work, that's what we think motivation looks like. Another myth is that it's the intensity that I bring to the dial. So if I come into work and I appear super motivated as a leader or as a boss, that's going to motivate my employees. People believe, motivation is coming to work and giving 120%. And also this belief that I just need to inspire them. I just need to inspire my team or my employees, and then everything will be fine. But when I talk about motivation, this is part of the story. You can be motivated, but motivation has both negative and positive to it. Like look at Charlie Sheen or Lindsay Lohan. Are they motivated? Yes, but are there negative motivations that come with that? Think about an employee you might know, right? Or a friend or a family member. You think they've got great potential, drive that could be utilized there, but they just suck the life out of you, or they suck the life out of your team, right? That is when you've got the positive motivation and the negative motivation. And often to be successful, it comes down to minimizing your counterproductive motivations and elevating your positive motivation. So for example, I know that my counterproductive motivation is when I work with my phone right next to me, I get completely derailed. I don't do any work. And easy distractibility is something for me that's a counteractive motivation. Whereas mentally I might be motivated, but physically there's things that take that motivation away. people have different motivation styles. It's like personality styles. They're different. It's not that one size fits all, right? So when we look at motivation and the meaning, it's basically either to seek pleasure or to avoid pain, okay? So we get motivated or not motivated to go to the gym, either to avoid pain, the pain of not being able to feel a certain way or look a certain way, or not be able to play with your kids because you get too tired. We go to the gym to avoid that emotional pain. Or we go to the gym to seek pleasure. I get to see my friends. I feel good from all those endorphins. Motivation is two things. You're either avoiding pain, as I need to do that uni assignment so I don't fail. That's avoiding pain to do that assignment. Or seeking pleasure. I'm going to do this assignment and get an A because that makes me feel significant and good about myself. Can you relate to this as I'm saying it, which motivated style you are? Yeah. Let's take an example. So you've got Mary and you give Mary a task to do and she's right on it. Yes, I can do it. Does it within the time frame. Super excited about it. She's motivated on the pleasure side. Whereas Bob might look a different way. So Bob instead will potential problems. He might not even care about the project, but he cares about your business avoiding pain by pointing out what could go wrong. On that note with Mary and Bob, we must motivate our employees by understanding their motivational language. And this is in everyday life too, not just with employees. If you want to get your husband or your partner or your kids to do something, you also need to understand their motivational language and what inspires them. Not everyone is motivated by money. Not everyone is motivated by quality time. It's kind of like the 5 love languages. We all have that different language that gets us motivated. Employees are motivated. The real question is, how do I unleash it? How do I unleash that motivational energy and power? And the answer is communicating in that language that they relate to. So back to the example of Mary and Bob, problem is this. We may look at Bob and think, I don't understand him as a leader. I don't think he's motivated, but he's not the problem. Our interpretation of their motivation is the problem. So the way you communicate to Bob is different to how you communicate to Mary. So Mary, you can say, this is the task, go do it. Whereas Bob, who just wants to avoid trouble coming, he's got the avoidance of pain motivational style. So with Bob, we want to ask him, look, I want to bring this new project to the table, but I want to go through all the things that could go wrong. If we take on this project, I need to know where the pain points are, and all of a sudden Bob starts lighting up. That is what's going to motivate him. Whereas you say, I'm going to do this project and need you to do X, Y, Z, he's not going to care. But if you come from a pain point and that pain motivation, he'll be driven to respond to this because he sees threat, he sees alarm bells, whereas Mary sees pleasure and I'm going to get this job done and impress my boss. We need to hire for motivational fit, not whether we like the person, right? Psychology shows we tend to like people who are similar to us and dislike people who are dissimilar to us. And the research shows that we actually make a decision between 3 to 5 minutes of meeting someone, whether we want to hire them. Do you know what that decision is based on? It is made in a part of the brain, the amygdala. Research has shown we ask ourselves the question, can I see myself going on a long drive with this person? And if the answer is yes, then you're likely to hire them. You like them, you get that vibe because you see mini you. We like to hire mini me's because we think, well, if they're like me, they can get the job done. Be mindful because they've done research on this and they actually studied whether there was a correlation between whether, liking someone in an interview and then being a top performer. And the correlation was 0. Just because someone says on their resume what they can do, it's not going to be what they're willing to do. So what we want to do is dig deeper and look at motivational fit. Because we often get stuck in thinking, why did that person do that? Or how could they have sent that email? Or, what were they thinking? I would never come to work 10 minutes late and not care about it. So there's 4 human needs that drive our behavior. Now, the 4 human needs are a need for certainty. And this is why during this uncertain time, people are feeling so much discomfort because their need of certainty is not getting met. The thing with needs is, and I've got a little positive and negative on the slides there, is that you can meet your needs in a positive way, you can meet your needs in a negative way. So during this time, 70% of people report drinking more during this time because I know when I drink, I feel calm. Drinking or eating gives me a sense of certainty. It gives me a sense of control. So if society can't meet my need of feeling certain right now, Doritos can, Pinot Noir can. So people will meet those needs on their own. The second need that people want to meet is the need for variety. They like, different things. They like challenges. They like change. The third need is a need for significance. Everyone wants to feel important. And then the final need is love and connection. So like I said, these needs can be met in positive and negative way. People might feel significant by doing stuff that get a negative reaction. And this can help you understand people's behavior. So understanding your employees, like what's going to make them feel certain? What is going to give them variety? How can I make them feel significant? Whether it's monetary reward, whether it's praise, whether it's, a bonus of some sort. How can I bring that love and connection to the team? If you can meet these needs within your group, you have them for life. But as a leader, as a manager, as a mum, as a friend, it's so important that we lead by example. And you don't have all the answers, especially if you're new to business. You start off as an infant, you're trying to work your way, you learn about all these different things. You don't have to be productive all the time either. We get in this mindset like, I need to be a super manager, super businesswoman, super businessman. You don't. People value you being human. Okay to relax. The best ideas come when you are calm. Have you ever just been doing nothing and you have a light bulb idea and think you're a genius? Your sleep is often you can have dreams that can be inspiring and motivating. Google, the double helix was all part of a dream that those people had. Put yourself first and your health first, because when you look after you, you can look after other people, such as your kids. If you feel like you failed at something, don't view it as failure. I say it's not failure, it's feedback. Gratitude is so important. They've done so many studies into daily gratitude. So just focusing on what you're grateful for, even in times of distress, makes you not focus on anger and stress. And when you're in that part of the brain, the gratitude part of your brain, you can't access any negative emotions. So gratitude is a really useful tool. Final reminders is that motivation is not a one size fits all. We all have a different motivational style and communicate in that motivational style with others. Invest in people. As businesses, I've been a victim of this. I've invested in, computers, in technology. Investing in people is just as important, whether that's a program, spending one-on-one time. The research shows that people only have a one-on-one encounter once a year with their team. Progress equals happiness. When I meet with employees, this is the number one thing I hear. I don't feel challenged in my role. Ask for honest feedback and be open to listening. A lot of the time we want to believe we're the expert, but often we're not. Our team are in the front line. Successful business, it's only 20% skill, 80% psychology. So invest in your own professional development and learning. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email and details are below. Thank you. I really appreciate your time today.